In an apparent move to tackle vote buying and control the amount of money in circulation, Central Bank of Nigeria yesterday announced a redesign of the currency in variation of 200, 500, and 1,000 Naira notes. But beyond the reasons adduced are the far-reaching implications of the effects on the dramatic move that took the business community and the nation by surprise. Campaign financing, money laundering, terror financing, payments of huge sums to kidnappers as ransoms are going to be, it's hoped, adversely affected by the change. Let's take a listen to the central bank governor.
In recent years, the CBN has recorded significantly higher rates of counterfeiting, especially at the higher denominations of 500 and 1,000 Naira notes, banknotes. Although global best practice is for central banks to redesign, produce, and circulate new local legal tender every 5 to 8 years, our existing series of banknotes, the Naira, has not been redesigned in the last 20 years. The bank remains resolutely determined to achieve the objective of its mandate as enshrined in Section 2B of the CBN Act of 2007 to ensure a strong and effective legal tender. It is therefore no longer tenable to continue with business as usual, especially given the continually evolving circumstances that could impeach the optimal performance of our Naira. Furthermore, we believe that the redesign of the currency will help deepen our drive to entrench cashless economy, as it will be complemented by increased minting of our e-Naira. This will further rein in the currency outside the banking system into the banking system, thereby making monetary policy more efficacious. Also, in view of the prevailing level of security situation in the country, the CBN is convinced that the incidence of terrorism and kidnapping will be minimized as access to large volume of money outside the banking system used as source of funds for ransom payments will begin to dry up.
All right, joining us from London, Arise business analyst Chika Mbonu. Chika, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. And I wanted to get your good morning, sir. I wanted to get your reaction to what we've heard, the news.
The CBN governor has one of the highest unfavorability ratings in the country, I believe, and I guess due to the issues that with the dollar and Naira, and then unfortunately is supposed foray into politics, So therefore, even when some novel initiatives come from the central bank, we tend to look at them, those initiatives, with a negative hindsight mirror first of all. The CBN governor, to those who have been telling him, do something about the dollar, do something about the dollar-Naira exchange rate, he has said something like, I cannot print dollar. The Emefiele guy has gone ahead now to act on the one that has power, which is Naira. And then again, as usual with most Nigerian things, you have a lot of opinions about it. So what we normally do in this program, as we always do, is stand for the nation and then try to, put the issues in different baskets, and at the end of the day, look at how the pluses and minuses for our country. The advantages, CBN in this power authority has authority to do what they have done, basically, to recall the old notes and then issue new notes. That part is not contestable; it can be contested. And the other thing is also the periodicity. Normally, in other climes, other geographies, between 5 and 8 years, we know that UK just this even one with the death of the Queen. With other geographies, they do it more frequently, but in our country, we're not done it for substantially a long time now. I've read so much about. I see Dr. Muda Yusuf has joined us. I've read so much about the opinions of several people about this. Then what are the issues that I'm hearing? The first issue is the timing correct? why this time around. That's one major issue. The other issue I'm hearing is what are the benefits? The CBN governor has enumerated the benefits of this initiative, and I don't contest them. My focus will be, let me remind a lot of young people, especially, what happened in 1984. It seemed that Nigeria goes around in cycles, and a lot of the cycles are revolved around our current President Buhari, because in 1984 he did the same thing that the CBN governor is doing now. That time, it was April 1984. Major General Idiabo read a speech overnight that this was going to happen, something was going to happen. All the borders in Nigeria were closed. The planes were flown, the new notes were flown by planes into Nigeria. And I think they're giving 21 days to change the currency. And why I'm bringing this up is, as CBN goes on this journey, we have to make sure that the nation does not suffer in the process. That's my own. The advantages of this, the reasons adduced are bona fide. I don't have a problem with them. But I'm just talking about the fact that how the CBN will handle this process. And by reminding us what happened in 1984, markets were closed. People were sleeping in the banks, trying to change their notes. And then what happened was even that the queues in the banking halls were worse than the fuel queues that we see now. And then what happened now was that when the new notes came, Nigeria had a two-tier economy. When you go to traders to buy something, they will ask you, do you have the new notes or the old notes? And that caused a lot of problems in the economy. So, but I think that now there are more branches in the country for banks. The rural areas have to be attended especially. And then the issue of cashless society will also be driven. Let me stop there for the meantime. Let me allow our guest, Dr. Muda Yusuf, who I see online, to talk. Then I can add more things.
Thank you, Chika. All right, we do bring in Dr. Muda Yusuf, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise. Dr. Yusuf, thank you so much for joining us. So I want to get your reaction as well.
You are frowning too much. Smile small now, you are frowning. Nobody died.
Okay. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. Go right ahead. So that's Chika Mbona, Rise Business Analyst.
I'm not as optimistic as my colleague in the other end. First, let's interrogate the value proposition of this. The CBN talked about having to deal with the problem of hoarding of cash, hoarding of new currency notes, counterfeiting, and mopping up of cash in order to aid the effectiveness of monetary policy. With due respect, I don't agree that redesigning the currency notes will achieve any of this. If you talk about hoarding of cash, if you can hoard the old notes, what stops you from hoarding the new notes? If it is redesigned, what stops you? Secondly, there's a talk about the fact that some of the mint notes that we have currently are being hoarded. Go around event centers on weekends in Lagos. You will see people hawking these current new notes as if they are hawking Coca-Cola or they are hawking biscuits. Where are these things coming from? Are they not coming from the banking system? So who do you blame for that? Then you talk about issue of mopping up to impact on monetary policy. Monetary policy is about influencing money supply. The cash component of money supply is about 3 trillion. The total money supply is 48 trillion. So how will you say that because you are working with a variable that is less than 7% of total money supply? How will that impact on monetary policy or inflation? And in any case, the whole idea of this redesign of notes is an exchange. If I take my old notes to the bank, you give me a new note. So how can you mop up currency through that? So the impact of monetary policy has no basis at all, even in economic literature. There's no connection. Then you relate this now to the cost. It's going to cost the economy a whole lot to print close to 3 trillion currency notes in value. I mean, we are talking of an economy that is running a deficit of almost 10 trillion. That we are grappling with the problem of debt service. We are grappling with the problem of inflation. We are grappling with the fact that the economy has just been downgraded. The country has just been downgraded by Moody's. These are more important issues. We have issues with liquidity in forex markets. We have issues with the volatility of the currency. We have problems with the currency depreciation and all of that. And all the distortions that the forex policy is creating in the economy. These are bigger issues for the CBN to attend to. Then we look at the issues of the logistics. This is a very big country, for goodness sake. How can you at this time now begin to talk about exchanging currencies? People have to be moving from one corner of the country to the other to go to the bank and create all sorts of chaos in the economy. I don't think we deserve that at this time. Then we are getting close to an election. The space that the window that the CBN has provided for this is just about 1.5 months. The sheer logistics alone is almost impossible. It's going to create a lot of chaos apart from uncertainty and the dislocation that is causing the economy. And let me also relate this to the payment system. We have made a lot of progress in our payment system. And we must give kudos to the CBN for that. Electronic payment, as of July, today, the value of electronic payment is 204 trillion naira. The value of transactions on POS is over 6 trillion naira for the first 7 months. The value of transaction on mobile money transfer is over 9 trillion naira. So what is this problem about this 3.3 trillion naira cash that we now turn the whole place upside down? So my position is that we have better things to do. There are more important things for the CBN to attend to at this time. And this is going to cause a whole lot of dislocations, a whole lot of distractions in the economy. So the economists will be saved the trouble of this. Because those who are in business have enough troubles already. You don't want to add this to it, especially when you relate it to the value proposition. I can't see any material value, any significant value in this. So, Rotus, that is my own take on this.
Thank you so much. We're going to be going soon to the Lagos State Governor who's going to be presenting the budget, but I quickly want to get Chika, your response quickly, if you can, Chika.
In the context of Nigeria, or let's put it this way, in the total context of changing currency, it's an accepted norm that when your currency stays for some time, in Nigeria, 20 years now. By the way, I don't stand for CBN, and I'm just seeing the facts. You can change them. I think ours has stayed for more than 20 years now. I don't see anything wrong in doing that. Now, there are primary reasons for doing this change, as I see them. And also, from what I've heard from the speech, there are also secondary reasons. The secondary reasons, let's not overlook them. The issue of how terrorism has flowered in the country. The issue of how ransom money has been paid. The issue of even the approaching election and the fact that they want to demonetize the election. And then the issue, the impact of monetary policy is still out there to be contested. Because, put it this way, if you bring 100 million naira cash, old note, into the banking system now, to walk into a bank for them to change for you, I don't think that you're going to walk out from the bank with 100 million naira new notes. I don't think that's how this is going to work. I don't have the CBN playbook, but I have a feeling that if you bring in 10 million naira cash or 20 million naira cash in the banking system to come and change to the new notes, it will not. I don't think you can get 20 million naira new notes. It will enable central bank, if I were thinking for them, the opportunity for individuals to open accounts and put money in the system and walk away with maybe cards and so on and so forth to further, deepen the cashless society that we have it. And for me, I see that. The other things I see here, do you not think, I've said it, do you not think that when somebody has this money now and is scared, the EFCC has come out to write press release that are waiting for people who are going to bring big money into the system, they're gonna deal with them. A lot of people are going to run towards the foreign currency to go and start buying cash dollars now. But even when you buy cash dollars, and if the BDCs or who are buying the Naira is going to come into the banking system. Dr. Yusuf, I associate a lot with the things you have said. CBN, as I said before, has the right to do this. Issue of timing, you can prove it. Is it going to be December, June next year, or should we wait, not do it during this election? As I've said, I want to focus more on the logistics. And that's why I shared what happened in 1984 when the same General Buhari was the head of state. How that one was implemented, how Nigerians suffered. And I think things have changed a little now. We have more bank branches. And I believe that CBN has learned from that lesson. They said banks must open from Monday to Saturday. And as people are coming in, people are going to be opening accounts for individuals and encouraging you to dump your money and then put your money inside the bank. It might cause a lot of disruption in the system. But remember what I mentioned also, that we have to avoid the situation. In 1984, he led a situation where people were saying, do you have new notes or do you have old notes when they want to sell things to you? Those are risks that may happen. And we hope that CBN will manage them in that process.
Thank you so much for that, Chika. Dr. Yusuf, you've seen the cover of today's This Day newspaper, which talks about this is supposed to, checkmate vote buying, ransom takers, and so on and so forth. What's your response to that?
That's a very simplistic proposition. People can easily get around all of that. People can transfer to people's accounts and all. There are many ways of getting around that.
But then wouldn't you Sorry, Dr. Yusuf, sorry. If you transfer money to a kidnapper or somebody's collecting a ransom, can't it be traced? Isn't that the point of shifting to the electronic channels? Sorry to interrupt. Please carry on.
No. You are talking of vote buying. These things happen at very retail level, villages and all of that. What I'm saying is that those who want to undertake vote buying, they are more ingenious than that. There are so many ways of dealing with this, especially at the grassroots, where all these things happen. I want to talk about terrorism and kidnapping. Supposing the kidnapper is asking for dollars, and you are desperate, will you not go and look for dollars? Or the kidnapper is asking for new notes, new currency, the redesigned notes. I'm just worried about the cost and benefits. I'm not saying that there's no benefits at all, but the cost is so highly disproportionate to whatever benefits they are putting on the table. We don't need this kind of distraction at this time. There are better ways of dealing with this problem. Kidnapping, money laundering, there are better ways of. Don't you see what is happening with NDLEA? They are not disrupting everywhere, and they are achieving results. They are using intelligence. We should do things in a way that will not be disruptive. This is going to cause a whole lot of disruption, which we don't need at all.
Chika, do go ahead. Thank you, Dr. Yusuf. Chika, you're going to say something?
Yeah, I think when you have 80% of the cash in an economy outside the banking system, it's not something that we should commend. It's a lot of money. Almost 2.7 or 2.8 trillion of cash outside the economy. I think that the net here, Dr. Yusuf, will be that 2.8 trillion or how much that is outside the economy, outside the banking system now, whether they're under the beds, buried inside holes, or hidden in wardrobes, or in drums, have to actually leave those places now and come into the banking system for them to be exchanged. It will have some impact in our monetary, in our banking system, in the ways we handle things also, no matter how tiny. I believe that for me, my focus, as I said, is let the CBN do their homework well. Let it not be like this when the Minister of Communication was doing this
NIN.
NIM that we're doing, and things were just totally messed up. And then, when some of us were speaking to them about what to do, I mean, they called us naysayers. Let it not be like that. This exercise requires very good logistic planning for it to be implemented at this time, Christmas season, and then election period. For me, the other primary issue, secondary advantages of, even though Dr. Yusuf dismisses them, of the issue of helping, especially banditry and ransom payments, and bringing more people into the banking system, you can't put a cost on them really. They are very important for the country.
Thank you so much for that, Chika. Dr. Yusuf, I give you the last word. If you want to close, yeah.
You see, let me also say this, Rotus and Chika. This economy is over 170 trillion Naira economy. Over 170 trillion. Go and check the data. So if you have a cash of 3 trillion, it's not a big deal. For a 173 trillion Naira economy. And I've said this, money supply is over 48 trillion. What is the materiality of a cash of 3 trillion? When you are dealing with a money supply of 48 trillion. So if you want to deal with issues of even this money, a lot of it can be dealt within the framework of the banking system itself. And when you talk about monetary policy, there's very little you can do in the area of manipulating the cash. You can't, I mean, it doesn't add up. Economic literature doesn't even support this theory. So that is my take. When you have an economy of 173 trillion Naira and you have a cash of 3 trillion, it's not too much. Go and check the proportion of cash to GDP, even in more advanced economies. It's not anything significantly different. And in any case, we are making a lot of progress in payment system. I just mentioned to you, the first 7 months, electronic payment, 200 trillion. I mean, that is a lot already. Let us just consolidate on that and look for some other creative ways of dealing with this issue of money laundering, kidnapping, vote buy. There are better ways of doing that than creating disruption for the entire economy. That is my take.
We really appreciate the time of both gentlemen, Dr. Muda Yusuf, CEO, Center for Promotion of Private Enterprise, and our very dependable Chika Mbono, Rise business analyst in Lagos, in London. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your thoughts. We really appreciate your time today discussing this very important matter. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.